challenge of teaching global citizenship is to make complex issues and stories from faraway countries feel relevant to students in the UK. But fair trade is an issue that directly links consumers in the West with producers in other countries. When we think of fair trade products, we probably think of bananas and coffee. But young people are more likely to spend their money on games, clothes or sportswear. The power of global brands in sport is huge, and using products like footballs to teach children about fair trade raises key issues about the choices they make as consumers.
14. Any number divided by itself, what does it equal? 1. Good go.
Nikki Matthews is a maths teacher at the Anglo-European School in Essex.
Brilliant. Have you done your homework, Kerry? Do you want me to take it and check it, or have you got some more to do?
Her background in banking prepared her for teaching maths, but she's about to embark on a whole new venture with her Year 8 tutor group, teaching global citizenship. She's beginning with fair trade.
Gemma, Lloyd, yes, ma'am. Ollie. At this school, everybody has to take part in citizenship, so whether you are citizenship trained or not, you have to take on the role of a citizenship teacher at some time throughout the school year. So basically, it's just a case of it's now my turn to do it. Right, OK, helping hands.
It's a big jump from maths, and Nikki's going to have to get to grips with new topics and a completely different approach to teaching.
Everybody can see it. It's a challenge. Mathematics I know, so I'm comfortable with it. I know what I'm teaching. I know what sorts of questions I'm likely to come up across, and I find it easy to answer them, whereas in citizenship I actually have to admit that I don't know enough and I have to find out myself. I don't have that comfort zone where I know everything.
Nikki's exploring fair trade over 2 lessons.
Never taught anything on fair trade before. This is the first time.
So how are you feeling?
Nervous. So, because although I know how I want the lesson to go, I've never done it with a class before, so it'll be interesting to see how they react.
In the first, she's going to explain how fair trade works, and in the second, she'll be focusing on fair trade footballs.
Right, I want you to fill up all the tables.
She starts by getting her students to think about what fair means.
We're going to start off with the title, It's Not Fair. And what I want you to do is in your tables, I want you to discuss 3 categories at home, at school and worldwide. What do you think is fair? What do you think isn't? Are there things you're expected to do that you don't think you should be expected to do?
Sometimes we want to stay up and watch things that our parents are watching.
And they get to watch them and we don't.
Yeah, which is unfair, very unfair.
What about at school?
Well, it finishes very late, so in the winter I live quite a long way away, so when I get home it's very dark. Yeah.
So it'd be better if we had like a shorter break time and then we went home earlier, so we would have more time at home.
Yeah. To like enjoy our childhood, and I think it's a bit unfair having so much homework when we've had like a really hard day at school.
OK, but the reason you've got an after-school detention in the first place is because you've done something you shouldn't. Or you haven't done something you should. So why is it not fair for you to be punished?
You get like forced to work even though you're not supposed to. Poverty as well, because like it's like not enough for everyone.
Yeah. So first of all, looking at home, which group wants to go first?
Well, it could be like because like if you babysit, but you don't really get paid for it.
So there's an expectation you're doing it for nothing.
Yeah.
And you feel that perhaps there ought to be a trade-off. You ought to get something out of it. What don't you like about school? What's not fair there?
From some teachers, you get unfair detentions. Like my friends just told me that this girl and boy looked out the window and they got a detention for it.
Some teachers they're different from other teachers because they're rude to students. Like some teachers even swear or something, and it's not fair because you're a student, you have to be polite.
OK, looking at worldwide then, what's unfair worldwide?
Some lands, like America and our land, England, have like loads of money and food, but in countries in Asia, like I can't think of any at the moment, but they don't have like much food or anything, and they starve. And I don't think that's really fair because we've got loads of money and they don't.
Right, so we're looking at the distribution of wealth and food throughout the world is unfair. So if we look at all these things that we've said, we either think aren't fair at home, school or worldwide, why aren't they fair? What do we think fair really means?
I think fair is being able to have your say, like, of what you want, instead of people telling you what you can have and what you can't have.
Everyone should treat the people the same way that they'd want to be treated.
So that instead of having a lot of things in one place and not that many things in another place, you could spread it out so it's all even.
Like the big fair trade thing that happens, where the farmer actually gets a reasonable amount for his crops that gets sent over here.
Right, so we need to try and make sure everybody's being treated equally.
To help the class understand what fair trade is and how it affects people's lives, Nikki's chosen to use a board game in which students take on the role of farmers in the developing world.
Yeah, we've got two groups of growers. So we've got the tea growers and you are the... Right, so first thing, you're starting here. You can go round the inner circle and the outer and you can move in between them, but you must stay clockwise. On your sheet, you're going to fill in your income first of all once you've thrown the dice. You then look at what you've got to spend out this year. Whatever else happens, you must spend that money because you need it for your food, clothing and housing.
There you are. If you have used pesticides, you have become ill, must go to recover.
Europe shoppers want more fair trade products. If your cart belongs to fair trade, you'll make an extra $20.
Should we join the fair trade or not?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Your children need school uniforms plus books.
How much is school uniform? We've only got 45 now.
35.
Stuff like this does actually happen to people.
It does actually happen to people, yes. To start off with, they weren't sure whether it was just all made up, whether it was a scenario that we'd dreamt up for them. And when they started to realise that actually this could happen in real life, it could happen to everyday people, they started to take on board a little bit more how important some of their decisions were.
Bad news. A member of your family is ill. Cost of medicine is 10.
We haven't even got 10. We don't have 10.
So someone...
So you're in debt.
Which one of you died?
So by watching that, they can start to see that what they do, what they say, how they make their decisions can actually have an impact on people who live on the other side of the world. What have you found out from this game?
In the second year, we kept having to pay things like we needed a concrete floor, we needed new tools, we needed a uniform, and the road was broken, and then our family got ill, and then because we couldn't pay for the medicine, they died, and we still owe them about $135.
Right, OK. Did anybody actually manage to join a co-op or get into fair trade whilst working through the board? Lloyd?
Oh, we got into a co-op and fair trade.
Right, did that help you?
Not really, because we ended up minus 255 in debt.
Right, what happened to you that made you end up with so much debt?
We kept on getting like bad weather and stuff, and we kept on losing half of our crop and rolling like sixes and stuff, which meant that we had to lose another £20.
Right, but had you not have got into a co-op and fair trade, would that have made things worse for you?
Not really.
With us, if we had joined fair trade or co-op, there would be so many things that we wouldn't have had to pay for. Like with the road, it would have been made for us, and with the concrete, that would have only cost £5, but it cost us a lot more.
OK, so you've said from the game that you've got various different things out of it, and you've found out that had you have been able to be involved in fair trade, you wouldn't have had to have paid out for essentials like road repairs. You might have had help with health costs, and also you'd be guaranteed better prices for your products, giving you a better income and then hopefully leading to a better standard of life.
I've noticed that the fair trade products are quite expensive. They're more expensive than like normal things.
Right, but if you have a choice as a consumer between buying fair trade products where you know somebody's going to get a direct benefit at the other end, or buying just regular bananas, would that influence your decision as to which to buy, knowing the consequences of your choice?
If you're trying to save money, then you'll obviously buy the cheaper ones. But if you're okay with money and then you feel that quite strongly for the fair trade, you'll pay for the fair trade ones.
OK, that leads us into our homework. I want you to find out about fair trade products. I want you to find out what's available. Jasmine's mentioned bananas, but I'm sure that isn't the only thing we can find. If you can, try and get some ideas of prices for me. And we can compare them to prices of regular non-fair trade goods next time. I think because I'm dealing with something that I'm not used to doing day to day, the main thing is just to be honest with them. So if they come across something I can't answer or I don't know enough about myself, just say, well, actually, I don't know, let's find out together. And work through it from that angle rather than just stand up saying, I'm the teacher, I know everything. I know what I'm talking about, 'cause sometimes I don't.
A week later, in the second lesson, Nikki wants the students to think about products directly related to their own lives and plans to get the class more actively involved in fair trade.
OK, I asked you to go away last time and try and find out for me what was available under the fair trade brand. Jasmine?
Well, I went around Tesco's last night and I found, like, bananas and I compared them to the price of normal bananas, like Tesco's own brand. And, like, it was... the fair trade things were way more expensive than the normal things.
OK, what else have we found?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Tea.
Sugar.
And cocoa beans. I found jewellery.
You found jewellery?
Sports things.
Sports things? What sorts
Like-
of sports things?
Like hockey balls and footballs and things like that.
What I want to do now is I want to just have a look at a short video.
Nikki's showing them a film about fair trade footballs and the people who make them.
How do you think a football is made?
The people who make it get the kill the cows, take the skin and put them on, and then the meat, they get the meat for the payment.
Where do you think it comes from?
Somewhere around Africa, America. Well, they're nowhere near each other.
I bet it's one of those things that's like made in China.
Factories
all over the world, so
made in
any factory.
China.
In fact, most of the footballs we buy come from one town in Pakistan and are hand-stitched by people who get paid as little as 60p a day. Six years ago, 28-year-old entrepreneur James Lloyd decided to try and change things by introducing fair trade to the world of football.
Footballs were largely being made in Pakistan, and the conditions of the football workers were generally very poor. There was lots of child labour, and the wages paid for people making the footballs were very low.
How are you? Not bad. Good.
The potential for fair trade was therefore huge in the production of footballs, and our business sprung out of that.
The price of a football includes a fair trade premium that pays for education, healthcare and community loans for the workers and their families.
Consumers pay a 20% fair trade premium on every fair trade football produced. That's anything between 20 pence and £2 per football, which might seem a very small tax on us as consumers, but actually has a huge impact on people's lives in Pakistan.
To find out what fair trade means for the people who make the footballs, we've come to a town called Sialkot in Pakistan, the football production centre of the world. Over 85% of the world's footballs are made here, more than 40 million every year. For hundreds of villagers outside Sialkot, stitching footballs is the main family income. Traditionally, this was low-paid work, but making fair trade balls guarantees a better wage.
We get 40p for a fair trade ball, 20p for non-fair trade. Today, we've only got one fair trade football each because the orders are low. But during the World Cup, there's loads of work. Everybody wants footballs. We get 7 or 8 a day. Once I did 10.
The money from the fair trade premium pays for an infant school attached to the stitching centre, so the women can bring their children to work with them. It's free. so children who might not otherwise go to school can get a basic education.
When I buy a ball, I look for the brand, just because I know it's a better type of football normally.
I usually look for like brand as well because I don't really buy balls from like the pound shop and stuff.
I like the brands and they're famous and they're better quality.
Brands are very dominant in sportswear, and this is what we have as a problem as competitors. In this country, the proportion of fair trade football sales are probably under 1% of total football sales.
Fair trade products often cost more, but these footballs cost less than the major brands.
This is our top-selling football, so team footballs, retails for £9.80. Perfectly good quality, non-PVC football. Now, if you compare this to some of the other brands, this one's for £14.99, this one's for £14.99 as well. Now, what would you rather? An ethically produced fair trade football for a tenner, or another brand for more money with no fair trade label?
James's fair trade footballs are having a huge impact on this village near the stitching centre. Kiran is 16, and all her family work in the football trade.
I live with my mother and I have 6 brothers and sisters. We all live together. My father died and I decided to leave school because we didn't have enough money at home. But because of fair trade footballs, we've been able to earn more and I'm still able to go to school.
उसके बाद जी है आपके पास log 2/5 ठीक है
जैसा कि मैं स्कूल जाती हूँ I really love school. हालात पूरी तरह से कवर नहीं I want to carry on with my education and sometimes my mother still struggles financially. फारिग टाइम मिले तो मैं So if I have any spare time, I help her stitch footballs.
During the summer holidays and after school, Kiran works with her family to help bring in extra money.
अगर हमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फेयर ट्रेड के फुटबॉल मिले तो मेरी मदर जैसे कि मेरी माँ The more fair trade footballs we are given, the more our mother will be able to support my education and my brothers and sisters' education. मेरा ये है कि I want my future to be good. If I continue my education, then we will be okay.
The fair trade premium also pays for medical care for everybody in the village. Last year, Kiran's aunt was very ill, but with free medicine, she can carry on working.
I'm having treatment. The doctor here can't treat me because I need specialist care. I've got bad problems with my head and my heart. My medicine's expensive. If it wasn't for the free healthcare, I wouldn't be able to afford the medicine and I wouldn't be able to survive. That's because of fair trade.
Most people in this area depend on footballs to earn a living, and one of the aims of fair trade is to break that dependency by giving people the opportunity to start their own business. Stitchers and their families can borrow money through a scheme called microcredit to invest in new projects, such as buying cattle or opening a shop. Almost 300 different businesses have been funded this way. Kiran's cousin Shazad borrowed money to open a snooker hall. It's packed every evening, and Shazad doubles his income by cutting hair between games.
Before I opened this, there was nowhere for people to go, so we just used to hang around at each other's houses. Now everyone can get together here. It's much better. I can make about £4 to £5 a day doing this, much more than I could make stitching footballs. If I hadn't been able to borrow that money, I would probably be unemployed, roaming the streets just hanging around.
And next door to the snooker hall, another young entrepreneur's borrowed money to set up the first video shop in the village.
I started off with 200 films and gradually built things up. Now I've got over 1,000. Plus I bought a TV and a DVD player. My business started to make money and that's where I am today.
I think microcredit is the cream on the cake of our fair trade scheme. It effectively enables people to get out of the export economy, stitching footballs, to engaging in a business that's local to their local community and culture. I'd like to see a lot more fair trade criteria being applied to products like T-shirts, like footwear, like football kits, which we have the potential to produce. My real hope is for footwear in the future, proper trainers that will appeal to younger people in this country.
So, what did you think about that?
I think the fair trade was good because her aunt was like really ill, and if she didn't belong to fair trade, then she probably would have died because she wouldn't have got all the medicine that she did get because of fair trade.
Steph?
I thought it was good that that woman that did stitching the footballs, the other children, they could go to a building that was attached to the place where you stitch footballs to go to school, like free of charge.
Jasmine?
I thought it was good because they set up like shops in the community that people can go to, and it's helping the community as well as the person.
Fair trade makes all the families that are in it really happy, even though they only get 40p, but there's still quite a lot in where they live, and it's like a big change in their life, and it's like really nice to see.
Pass that round, have a look. What do you think? How does that compare to a branded football? Do you think it's the same? Do you think it's better? Do you think it's not so good? Other than the logos on it, is there any difference? Who would it make a difference to now, having seen it and seen the effect it would have? Would that persuade you to buy a fair trade football against one with a logo on? So for most of you, you think that would make a difference. If we could make a difference as a school, how would we go about it? What would you need to do to make those sorts of changes in school? We'll feed back in a minute. You can discuss it in your groups first of all.
Not everyone in the class is convinced they should choose fair trade.
So if they made this in shiny blue and you had the choice between that and a Nike ball in shiny blue, which one would you buy?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? You're still tempted to go for the brand?
Yeah, probably.
Even knowing that that could improve somebody's quality of life?
Yeah. Well, it's not really that fair, is it? Because here they like sell it for $9.99 and they only give them 40p, so they're getting a big deal out of it anyway.
Oh, but Nike might be selling their ball for £15 and they only get 20p. So how's that fairer?
But it's just like a better ball, really, though. So.
Is it? They're made in the same place.
Yeah, but
A fair trade logo. I think they should make a brand, and then that'll be more popular.
But to create a brand, you've got to have advertising. How could we get these balls more visible, maybe through school, so that people can see them, and next time when they see them in a shop, they actually know what they're all about?
A good way to get fair trade footballs would be to talk to like head of PE or head teacher about it. I think a good way to persuade them is to show different videos about it and to explain about it.
Ask all the teachers to sign a petition or something.
Do the PE department because it's PE kit. Talk straight to Mr. Zimmerman because he's head of the department. And head of PE is Mr. Zimmerman, so you can talk to him about getting the footballs and everything.
Even the boys who love their brands are coming round to the idea of fair trade and are thinking about how to make more people want to buy them.
big brand balls, like people want those because they look good because they spend money on designing them and finding what the fashions are. So if they found a good fashion for that ball, like did it up again, like made it look good, people would want to buy it because it looks good.
What sorts of ideas have you got to try and introduce them into school? How could we go about it?
The school could buy some and then we could use them, like when we're practising.
We could do like a football match where you play like the teachers against the teachers and have like a football match.
So we could have a charity football match to raise money to then buy the footballs?
Yeah.
So we want to get fair trade into school. Who's the most important person to get to be on our side?
Mr. Zimmerman.
Right, so we need to talk to Mr. Zimmerman. How are we going to do that?
Maybe take him a copy of the film and show him and talk to him about it.
What are the most important points to get across to him?
How life-changing it is.
Do you think he's likely to have ever seen a fair trade football before?
No. I hadn't.
Maybe. If he hasn't, what are you going to do?
Show him it.
Right, show him the football, stick to basics.
Are we actually going to do this?
Are you actually going to do this? Why not? Why can't we actually do it?
So we are going to do it then, that'd be good.
We can do that, yes, we can do that now.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, so who would like to do that?
A group from the class goes to find the head of PE, Mr. Zimmerman, to tell him why they think the school should start buying fair trade footballs.
Can we talk to you about something, please?
Yes, you may.
In Pakistan, which is mainly the main football place they make footballs, people are paid 20p to make a football, like a brand football, and which is not very much money, but they're paid double, which is 40p, which is actually a bit more. It's not much over here, but in there it's quite a lot.
I know you can fair trade when you buy your vegetables and everything. Is it very much similar that that money is basically going for development wherever all the people need it?
And if you've got a spare moment, can we show you this DVD, please?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. It's going really well. He's thinking about it, and we're just about to show him the DVD now. So hopefully he'll think it's good and he'll start buying fair trade footballs.
The PE department will definitely support you because we believe in the old school ethos of citizenship. So I'm looking forward to speaking to you guys again.
Through understanding how their choices as consumers affect people on the other side of the world, the students feel that they can really begin to change things.
I'm quite happy with how it went. It's a bit shocking that it just sort of turned out like this.
I hope we'll be able to get more footballs and see that it's changing, because then maybe it will make other schools, if other through our friends, other schools will see what we're doing. Maybe they'll try and introduce it to their school too.
Hey.